ಪ್ರವೀಣತ್ವೇ ನವೀನತ್ವೇತ GFU ಶ್ರೀಲಂಕಾ.
The first anniversary of independence in Ceylon is observed throughout the island on February 4th, 1949, with great enthusiasm and devotional fervor. A marathon race in which young men from the four corners of the island will carry messages of goodwill to the Prime Minister, Mr. D.S. Senanayake, forms one of the principal features of the colourful celebration. Amidst memorable scenes, from Dondra, the city of the gods, the southern relay commences on the night of February 3rd. Inside the temple, at the revered seat of Vishnu, the guardian deity of Lanka, ancient ritual is observed and the blessings of the god invoked before the message is handed over to the first runner. The marathon is a parable of cooperation, a test of sustained endurance, and an example of eager determination. Scenes of rapturous enthusiasm prevail as the youthful stick players dance to the beat of the Kandyan drum. Though not in the Spartan manner and mission, in our own land the story is told of a floral relay from Magama in Ruhuna to Anuradhapura, where runners brought offerings of flowers to the Ruang Valley Dagaba. Conceived by the Minister of Finance, Mr. J.R. Jayawardena, the purpose of the marathon of 1949 is not victory but unity, not competition but cooperation. The message is now handed over to the first runner, who emerges from the crowd. Thus, shortly before midnight begins this non-stop marathon. The following morning, the Chief Justice, Sir Arthur Wijewardena, arrives for the United Services Parade held on the seafront on Goldface Green. He is welcomed by the Minister of Home Affairs. The Prime Minister, Mr. D.S. Senanayake, comes next. He too is greeted by Mr. Wijeratne. His Excellency the Governor-General, Sir Henry Monk Mason Moore, is driving to the saluting days, escorted by motorcyclist outriders. As his car comes to a stop at the days, the Prime Minister steps out to greet His Excellency. The parade is on. The bands of HMS Birmingham, the Ceylon Light Infantry, the police and the Royal Air Force swing past the days where His Excellency takes the salute. Parade commander is Colonel Mendes, the 1st Ceylonese Commandant. Behind him comes a detachment from HMS Birmingham, followed by the Marines. The Ceylon Naval Volunteer Reserve march impressively. The United Kingdom Army in Ceylon. Ceylon Garrison Artillery. Ceylon Engineers. Ceylon Light Infantry. The colours which are being proudly carried are the King's colour, presented by the Prince of Wales, now the Duke of Windsor, in 1921, and the regimental colours. Ceylon Signals Corps. Ceylon Army Service Corps. The saluting battery. The men of the battery stand like graven images, stiffly at the salute. as the jeeps drive slowly past the dais. All eyes are turned to the skies. The flypast which provides a fitting finale to the parade is by Air Salon and RAF aircraft. They dip and salute and sweep by northward. The Lion flag of the Dominion of Lanka and the Union Jack flutter in the breeze. The guns of the saluting battery boom out, splashing the seafront with spasmodic puffs of smoke. The salute brings to a close the United Services Parade, which was watched by large crowds. His Excellency the Governor-General is leaving, while a royal salute is accorded to him. The marathon runners advance from the north, south and east to the common goal. Here are the runners from the south passing the massive Kalafira Bridge. Popular rejoicing marked the progress of the race throughout the land. At the site chosen for the Independence Memorial at Torrington Square, ancient ritual was observed in the inauguration ceremony that took place there at the auspicious hour, a ceremony dating back to the pre-Buddhistic era. The foundation stone, receptacle for the messages that will be embedded here. A procession of Kandyan dancers and drummers set out to the octagonal site, decorated with pandals, where the foundation stone of the Independence Memorial will be laid later in the evening by the Prime Minister. Sir John Kothalavala, Minister of Transport and Works, performs this ceremony. Sir John, accompanied by his ministry officials, enters the octagon, carrying a silver plate filled with jasmine flowers. In it lies a small, richly carved silver box containing the 9 precious gems, the 5 metals and the 5 oils, and a Sannasa, inscribed scroll, which states that the memorial is erected to commemorate Ceylon's independence and invokes the blessings of the gods for the prosperity and security of the people. Sir John lowers the foundation stone. The ceremony ends with the customary eating of milk rice, in which the minister and others present partake. As the runners from the north, east and south converge on the city limits, a start is made in the western race, in which the first runner takes off from the Galle Face. The marathon symbolizes a unity of purpose, a unity of cooperative effort, a unity of class, creed and community, a sense of advance to a common and definite goal, and a spirit of sacrifice for the common good. At Torrington Square, 400 girls dressed in spotless white march in, escorting the 4 girls representative of the womanhood of Lanka, who are to receive the messages brought by the marathon runners. Four girls have taken up their positions on the dais. Tamil, Burgher, Muslim, and Sinhalese. The marathon moves on with speed and unison. The 4 of Ceylon's champion athletes, drawn from the 4 major communities, fell the honor of running the last lap. And they sweep on, 4 abreast at an even speed, each one in step as a team, symbolic of the cooperative spirit in which their destiny must be fulfilled. The vast gathering rises and cheers as they arrive sharp on time. The scrolls are handed to the 4 girls, who in turn present them to the Prime Minister. The messages will be read in Sinhalese, Tamil, Arabic and English. It says, "We, the youth of this country who have travelled night and day, seeking you, the chosen leader of our nation, offer a promise of sacrifice and cooperation in the common task of rebuilding our nation. On this historic day, when we commemorate the first anniversary of Lanka, free once again after 133 years of subjection, at this hallowed spot where the first free parliament of the people assembled, we pledge ourselves as citizens of one nation to combat and defeat the evils that we have inherited from the recent past, so that we too may say, 'Rejoice, for we conquer.'" The Prime Minister will now lay the foundation stone, in the cavity of which the messages, enclosed in a wooden casket, will be embedded. As the conch shells blow and the muggle bearer throb, the foundation stone is laid by the Prime Minister. Simultaneously, 133 pigeons are released, symbolizing Lanka's freedom from subjection after 133 years of foreign domination. The Prime Minister, addressing the gathering, says, "Let us follow the truth, seek justice, and work hard. There will then be enough for all in this fair island of ours." The inspiring notes of a national song echo throughout the land. As true citizens of their country, the working people of Lanka are bending all their efforts to reach the targets of the government's 6-year plan for the development of the national economy. A new consciousness has arisen among the people, a new determination to prove worthy of the freedom which they have achieved. In the fields of Lanka, men and women worked with renewed vigor to make the land once again the granary of the East. What was till recently scrub and jungle areas are today smiling paddy fields, rich in their bountiful productivity, a land peopled by vigorous manhood and womanhood. From Galloa in the east, where the multi-purpose scheme is now well underway, to the colonization schemes of the north-central province, from the Jaffna Peninsula in the north to the southern granaries of Tisamaram, extend the country's vast food effort. Lanka's magnificent mountain range, the rugged grandeur of the hill country, fern-clad gorges, and numerous waterfalls and sylvan glens, as swift meandering rivers, provide not only scenes of unsurpassed beauty and charm, but the rich sources of cheap power for the industrial prosperity of the country. Norton Bridge, the great hydroelectric scheme, has harnessed the vitality of the Laksapana Falls for the benefit of the people. In city and village, in town and hamlet, the completion of this gigantic project will mean the beginning of a new era of prosperity. And in this fair isle, ever wooed by winds and watched by skies of luster calm and clear, summer deathless burns. And as the evening shadows fall, glorious sunsets lap her shores, bringing to young and old a deep thankfulness for nature's many gifts and fresh inspiration to pledge themselves anew in the service of their island home, over which once again flies the lion flag of Lanka.